Good day. We are here to present a research paper and we are Group 6 from 12 Valor.
The spontaneous epidemic of COVID-19 has a global impact. With this situation, the Philippine education system has shifted to online and modular learning. This study examines the preferences of 100 senior high school students in Maribeles and Balanga, Bataan, for mode of learning such as online distance learning and modular distance learning. The questionnaire is distributed and the responses are collected using Messenger and Google Forms. The schools where we conducted our survey research are BNHS and TRC in Balanga City, as well as Life and SMNHS in Mariveles. To conduct the study, each municipality requires only one online and one modular learning system. The students' level preference assisted the researchers in identifying some issues with the two learning modalities, such as the fact that they do not acquire knowledge and are not comfortable using such as mode of learning. However, the overall result of the data suggests that in this time of pandemic, students find online learning and modular learning to be an effective and efficient mode of learning. The researchers were able to determine the students' preference level, as well as their experience in two learning modalities by the end of the study.
Statement of the problem. Our general problem was to determine the level of preference and experience of the selected grade 12 senior high school students taking modular distance learning and online distance learning in selected public and private school in the municipality of Balanga and Mariveles. Our general problem was directly lifted from the title and the specific question has to answer the general problem. Here are the following questions. Number 1. How may the grade 12 students in public school describe modular distance learning in terms of effectiveness in acquiring knowledge, self-interest, availability of resources, and flexibility? Number 2. How may the grade 12 students in private school views the online distance learning in terms of effectiveness in acquiring knowledge, self-interest, accessibility, and flexibility? Number 3. What is the preference level of the students from public schools in using modular distance learning? Number 4. What is the preference level of the students from private school in using online distance learning? And number 5. What are the implications of these studies in the learning experiences of the students in private and public schools under different modalities in the time of pandemic?
So next is conceptual framework. A conceptual framework is like a roadmap for your study, helping you to visualize your research project and put it to action. It defines the relevant variable for your study and maps out how might they relate to each other. It is used to make conceptual distinction and organize idea. So there are so many types of conceptual frameworks that we can use while we are making our research. There's an IPO method, or the input, process, output, and the flowchart method, and the IDVD, or the independent variable, dependent variable, and etc. In this research, we use the flowchart method because it helps us to show the essential step and it organizes the tasks in chronological order and identify them by type, process, decision, and gathering data. As we can see to our research, we started with our research title and it was followed by a research background to know the basic background of this topic or the being investigated, and also to form a more focused topic. Next is the literature review. We find several articles and relevant theories just to strengthen and support our ongoing study regarding the effectiveness of learning modalities in the Philippines. Then it's followed by problem identification and statement. So we consider the possible hindrances for students. Why did they choose modular or online learning? Next is the research objective. So our objective in this research is to know the preferences of the student and to determine why they did choose online or modular learning. Then after that, the researcher disseminate the survey questionnaire and gather the data to analyze the result of the ongoing study. Lastly is the conclusion. The collection of data was done and we can find out the result and give a conclusion to the conducted study, and we can present the outcome of our research study.
This video will explain the methodology of our research paper. This part of the research paper methodology is titled Method of Research. In this paper, we discuss the various processes that researchers will use to complete their research. It contains the study design, which outlines the several stages that researchers will go through to fulfill, such as data collection, developing techniques and mechanics, and many others. It also contains the validation of questionnaires under the methodology of research section, where researchers will have their survey questionnaire and will pick validators to validate or check it. It also incorporates data collection and analysis in research methodology, where researchers will collect data from the students who will be surveyed. Researchers will create a questionnaire, get it validated by validators, and then distribute it to target respondents via Google Forms. This sampling method is the last component of the research methods because it is the one that will be used in this research paper by the researchers depending on their work. So methodology is a crucial aspect of a research paper since it explains the process that one research study will go through and the process that researchers will follow to conduct successful research.
Since our objective is to determine the level of preference and to understand why each respondent or senior high school student will choose either modular or online distance learning, we used a simple Likert scale questionnaire, as we needed a quantitative result. To make it easier for the respondents to indicate their preferences, we also used popular sites like Google Forms and Messenger to distribute the questionnaires, as it makes the collection of data more streamlined.
Now for the result of our research study. As you know that we had obtained two results from each variable in modular distance learning and online distance learning, which are the effectiveness in acquiring knowledge, self-interest, availability of materials, accessibility, and flexibility, as well as the preference level and the implication of the two modalities to the selected grade 12 students in BNHS, SMNHS, TRC, and Life Inc. For the result in modular learning based on the variable given, the majority of the public students are agreeing that this mode of learning is effective for them because then they can acquire knowledge from the modules and other learning materials provided by their schools. And they said that they can manage and balance their time as a student and as an individual. While in the online distance learning, based on the result data we got, many private students said that this mode of learning is effective for them, as they can fully understand and be interested in what their teachers taught them. They also agreed that they have sufficient electronic devices and internet connection to attend an online class and time management to pass all the requirements needed for school. However, the preference level of these students taking modular learning is the opposite obtained from the variables because many of them have disagreed that modular distance learning is not their preferred mode of learning during the pandemic because of many circumstances and problems they experienced. While for the private students who took online distance learning, they agreed that online distance learning is what they preferred during the pandemic. Moreover, the researchers determined the preferences of the grade 12 students from different schools with different learning modalities such as modular distance learning and online distance learning amidst the pandemic. For the conclusion, here is Sebastian Conos III.
The researchers have resulted in gaining the mean and percentage for each category
and on how grade 12 students of public and private schools viewed modular and online learning as a mode of learning amidst pandemic. Based on the result, many modular students agreed on the different categories that can be seen in the statement of the problem, meaning that many students studying in modular learning can adapt to the new education system and acquiring knowledge is effective for them, and some disagreed because they are having a hard time studying independently. When it comes to online class, students agreed that they can acquire knowledge and they are more comfortable with taking part in an online class due to the interaction with their teacher and they are assisted by it if they are experiencing difficulty in the lessons. However, some students are experiencing a hard time because of their poor internet connection. Based on the results of all categories that have been listed by the researchers, it implies that students find online and modular learning an effective and efficient mode of learning amidst a pandemic.